Bam! Good Saturday morning, friends. It's your friend Maisha T. Hill. I am the curator of Check Your Privilege, um, author of Heal Your Way Forward, and grateful to be here with y'all on this beautiful Saturday morning. That whole intro is a whole vibe for me. That's why we have it, because I'll be back here doing all types of things. I've changed my bonnet color today, it's black. And really grateful to be here. On our social media platforms today, I posted to all of you who are watching live or the replay, what zone are you in? And that is the work of the zones of regulation. It's a form of social emotional learning. And if you have your hard copy of Heal Your Way Forward, let me grab mine before we jump into where we're reading. Pull it out the drawer. On page 91 of this book, Heal Your Way Forward, I talk about when I learned about social emotional learning. And it was at the bottom. It's when my kids were part of Oakland Unified School District, where they implemented SEL, or social emotional learning, as a process for students to develop self awareness, self control, and interpersonal skills. Now, these are skills that if you are a high end Gen Xer, into millennial, baby boomer, etc., unless you are a teacher in a district that talks about social emotional learning, you don't practice this. Like you're like, what is that? And so basically, there are groups that are trying to ban social emotional learning, empathy, etc. But I think this is a great tool for all of us adults to learn to become better regulated. Again, better regulated adults. And so if you watched the reel this morning, if you're on Instagram, it might be on Facebook too, you saw I said, vibe check, good morning, what zone are you in? And for me, I'm in the green zone. I'm choosing green because I have a choice of where I want my energy to flow. I either want my window. I either want my energy to flow in green, and red sometimes shows up well because I'm a human, and my energy and my mood can change like this, just like yours. And I hope that you have a deep understanding of that. So today we're going to be reading Heal Your Way Forward. We are on page 25 of chapter 1. Again, just wanting you all to know that um, the the paperback version of our book comes out on March 11th. So go ahead and pre-order your paperback. Order it for yourself, order it for your friend, order it for your coworker who thinks they're your supervisor, order it for your supervisor who thinks they're woke, have your human resources team order it for your whole department. Now, I know a lot of people like our organization is banned in DEI. Honey, you got affinity groups. Unless your organization has banned affinity groups, send it to your white affinity group. But pre-order the paperback version on Bookshop, Amazon, your favorite independent bookstore. Let's get these books out here because we're not going back, but we will heal our way forward. All right. So thank you all for that reminder. So what we're going to do is we are going to read one page today. And we're going to read chapter 25 because we're going to do a self-compassion break live in real time. All right. So if you have Heal Your Way Forward, we are on page 25. Grab your books. Because I'm typing, and we're going to do page 25. I'm typing for Instagram. And we're also going to do a self-compassion break. All right. So I'll put that here. So for those of you who are coming live on Instagram, you know what's going on. I'm reading. And good morning to you. All those of you who are watching on YouTube and Facebook, grateful to see you. Leave a comment. Let me know who you are, where you're from. It's always great to be in community with you. So yesterday we left off on page 24. Let me go ahead and show this to you all so we're all on the same page. All right, we left off on page 24 when we talked about my experience with white women that who were attracted to my natural matriarch not Western, okay, but natural ancestral matriarchal nature, but did not have that same um, way to meet me there, right? And I ended with considering the times when Black women nursed the babies of white slave masters so wives could have a social status. I have felt like a wet nurse to white women who demanded my energy. And many white women raised within patriarchal households cannot see how their relationship with oppression impacts their relationship with I would say not just women of color. I would also say people of the global majority. You're welcome. I'm so glad, Jay, that I'm doing this because I'm not just reading too. I'm also kind of giving y'all some context on where I was when I wrote this book and what this means. Basically, when we're ending on page 24, I'm letting you all know that a person is not a project and a project is not a person. Many of you follow CYP, follow me on all these apps, follow some of my friends. Um, and I just uh, want to let you all know that, like, sometimes it could be felt as if it's transactional, and I'm not really good at transaction. I don't know if that's just me as a human being, if it's my autism, my ADHD, maybe it's just me. I've never been very good at transactional relationships. And that's why, for me, social media is a very hard place, because social media is very rooted in transaction versus transformational relationship building. Hey, Rebecca, it's good to see you this morning. So, I take my relationships very seriously, even with even people, strangers on the internet, right? Because I believe that everyone has a purpose. I believe that everyone can be changed and transformed. They just need the opportunity to remember that they are whole and human, right? And not just artificial intelligence to perform tasks and do things all day. And oftentimes it's just things to benefit others and not themselves. So let's keep going here. We're going to go down to page 25. We're reading one page today and one page tomorrow because it's the weekend, and I'm going to ease into it. And I have a community meetup in our collective today. So it says for me that my great shakeup helped me recognize the ways I had not only been socialized to uphold oppression, but also to be an oppressor. I noticed a pattern of codependency rooted in ancestral trauma passed down generationally, depending on how we were socialized into the world, and how I was voluntarily playing a role in a system created by horrific violence and genocide against my ancestors. I didn't realize I had been socialized into whiteness until I recognized that my proximity to whiteness afforded me opportunities different from my Black counterparts. Since I grew up in a white suburb with white peers and went to good white schools, I was able to code switch and code interpret the world around me. I was socialized to whiteness. I didn't even recognize my proximity to Blackness, even saying things like, I feel sorry for those people upon seeing enslaved Africans on slave ships. And I want to give you all some context here to what I mean when I say that in this chapter. Let me break this down to you. Between kindergarten and fourth grade, okay, kindergarten and fourth grade, I was raised in Chicago. And for me, being a Black girl on the south side of Chicago on Giles Avenue, that's all I'll say, I went to an all Black school. I don't recall seeing anyone white at my school. And so going to school every day, I saw people that looked like me. I learned what it meant to be young, gifted, and Black. I learned that Black was beautiful. I learned that Black was powerful. We had a school song. We sang the Black national anthem before the Pledge of Allegiance. It was all Black, like Blackness was at the center. Those are my early childhood years. Blackness was at the center. I knew nothing of whiteness and white people. All right. So when I get to California, to the West Coast, in an all white suburb in fifth grade, and we're talking about slaves, I'm like, what slaves? Just sit with me for a second. I came from an all Black everything that talked about how amazing and how beautiful it is to be Black. And then went into a place that was like, you were a slave. And for me, I'm like, oh, I feel sorry for those people. Like, I didn't connect my Blackness to enslavement because for my formative years, K through 4, I was taught that it was a good thing to be Black. You are young, gifted, and Black. You can do anything you put your mind to the point that I was in dance classes. I tried out for the parade we have on the South Side, the Bud Billiken parade. I was going to be one of the little marching majorettes. Like, it was to be Black. Oh my goodness, to the point that my grandmother wrote me a poem in that Black suburb so that I could survive what we were around, to remind me what Black was. I'll tell y'all the name of the poem in Black History Month because I'm going to have to go to my mom's house and grab it and get it copyright and trademark real quick. But my grandmother wrote me a poem essentially about the beauty of Blackness. She wrote that for me as I got older in a white suburb because I believe that my grandmother started to see the shift, started to see me doubting myself, starting to see that I didn't belong because I came from all Black everything. And where I came from told me that I was royalty. So when I came to learn that about enslavement, I'm like, who's a slave? Who are those people? I was blinded by like this story, this narrative in a history book that I was enslaved. When I learned from K through 4 that I came from like Egypt and South Africa, and we studied the kings and queens of Egypt. That in third grade, I still have it. When I find it, I'll share it with you all. I made a mask, an African mask. I learned hieroglyphics. I learned how to write my name in hieroglyphics, y'all. So that's what I learned from, what was that, 5 years old to like 11 years old. I only knew how amazing and wonderful Blackness was in this world, only to be picked up, moved, and learn about whiteness and how to hate myself, how I would never fit in. And then I distanced my proximity to Blackness to try to opt into whiteness. And that is what I call part of the addiction to whiteness. If you don't jump on the bandwagon of the addiction, if you don't center whiteness in your life, if you don't center whiteness at the norm, you do not fit in. In a culture of domination, colonization, imperialism, white supremacy, ableism, who is always at the center of the story? If you're a person in a white body, it's you, supposedly. And now, let's bring this to a current context in history. And now in 2025, here is another shakeup for white bodies. You had an awakening in 2020. I thought y'all got it, but you went back to sleep. So now you're being shaken up, because now it's not just Black Lives Matter. It's Black Lives Matter. Indigenous lives matter. The fact that we have a government questioning Indigenous people as my ancestors, my elders, as my siblings, as birthright citizens in the land that they stole. Okay. We have the LGBTQ plus two-spirit community, trans community, like it's all of us now. So in 2020, when it was niched down, y'all got it. But now the shakeup is that it's not just the niche, it's all of us. Because in 2021, 22, it was Asian, anti-Asian hate. Every culture has had its moment in history, but now it is all of us. This is your shakeup. And you have no choice at this moment. You have two choices: to let the fear and apathy make you feel so afraid that you, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I'm in a panic. Oh my God, this is horrible. I want you to feel that. But unfortunately, in your body as a white-bodied person, you don't have my ancestral remembrance. Now, some of y'all from other cultures do, because some cultures went through internment camps. Two cultures specifically, Japanese and Jewish. You have the ancestral remembrance. But if you are a white-bodied person who all you know that you're proud to be American, and if struggle was you being mad because your parent couldn't get you the shoes that you wanted so you can fit in with the girls at school, that's a different remembrance. That's caste, C-A-S-T-E, and class, C-L-A-S-S. But this shakeup right here, Michael Jackson tried to tell us and they took him for it. They don't really care about none of us. In fact, somebody spelled out MAGA today with it was like Amazon, Google. It was Meta, Amazon, Google, and what's the Apple? That spells out MAGA. They don't care about none of us. And we got two choices, friends. We can stay in this radical feeling space of apathy and sadness and grief and sit there and stay in that nervous system dysregulation of a freeze, or we can learn how to practice self-compassion and remember moments in history when we as a culture of people in this country can say collectively, we've been here before. Your grandparents may have been alive during Jim Crow, and you've made a conscious choice to not be like your grandparents if you're in a white body. My grandparent went through Jim Crow. She was a little girl during Jim Crow. And I get to do something she wasn't able to do. I get to get on a platform every day from the comfort of my home and tell people the importance of healing themselves from the systems of oppression. Because all my grandmother could do was pray. While if your grandparent was in a white body, they could laugh and mock and boss my grandmother around. It would be easy for me to say, oh, it flipped now. Look who got the power. But this is not even about a power play. This is deeper than a power play. This is now me saying, hey, we have the remembrance. On one side, there was oppression. On another side, there was, what do? You codepend on that oppression. And now the table is here. It's like an even playing field. I don't have no more power over anybody. And that neither do you. Because we see the powers that be have the power. And we have two choices: stay codependent on the system or be interdependent with each other and learn how to heal our way forward. And we learn to do that with social emotional regulation, self-compassion, empathy, etc. We have a choice, but we have to know that, okay, they're doing this on purpose. They're dysregulating our nervous systems on purpose, because a lot of us didn't pay attention during this in high school and maybe even college. But we have to remember the parasympathetic nervous system, what the brain gut connection. If they keep us sick, it fuels the medical industrial complex, and it doesn't allow us to tap into the higher source of who we are and what we've been called to do and be as a people. We the people. This is your shake-up moment. This is your moment to say, you know what? It's time to heal my way forward. And with the collective, it's time to heal our way forward. So let's get back to the text. If you're just now watching this, I would probably let y'all know to probably watch this on YouTube, where you can get all the context in which I'm speaking to, or rewatch it here on the platforms that you're watching it on. So we're just going to do this one practice on page 25, which is a self-compassion break. And then I'm going to stop at page 25 because I need to take a break before I go into the Heal Your Way Forward collective. So it says, do now. Take a self-compassion break. I am sure as you're reading this or listening to my context, lots of conflicting thoughts are emerging. And Dr. Kristin Neff defines self-compassion as acting in the same way toward yourself when you're having a difficult time, fail, or noticing something you don't like about yourself as you would towards someone you love or care about. So we're going to go ahead and put a bookmark on this page and tell yourself, I'm going to be kind to myself right now. I am going to offer myself the same kindness I would offer someone I love. So we're going to step away from the book. We're going to put it down and pick it back up and keep going tomorrow. So I'm going to stop screen sharing. When I think about my work here at Check Your Privilege, or now we call it Heal Your Way Forward, I think about this work as an act of self-compassion, as treating ourselves that we would treat a friend. And so if anything that I have said in the last couple of weeks or days have kept you dysregulated, if anything that has been shared has kept you, or anything that you've seen over the last week have made you feel like, what is my point and purpose of being engaged in this work? Take a self-compassion break and tell yourself, this is what I do. My breath is kind of shallow right now, I'm noticing. And so I'll close my eyes and I'll put my hands together, because this is how I also stem with my autism. And I tell myself in these moments that these are moments of suffering. Other people are impacted this way, and may I be kind to myself. This is a temporary moment of suffering. Other people feel this way, and may I be kind to myself. This is a moment of suffering. Other people feel this way, and may I be kind to myself. And one more time, telling myself that this is a temporary moment of suffering. Other people feel this way, and may I be kind to myself. In a world where it's so easy to perform kindness to others, make some time today to be kind to yourself. Allow yourself to treat yourself as if you were treating me, Myisha T. Hill. When you want all the good and all the great things to happen for me, I want you to take a step back today and bring all the good and all the peace and all the happiness to you. Because everything is temporary moments of suffering. other people live into these experiences, and may we be kind to ourselves. All right, friends, thank you so much for tuning in to today's live stream. Thank you so much for reading with me. If you're popping in and out, you might want to start over. I did read Heal Your Way Forward, page 25, and we practiced a little bit of a self-compassion break. I'm going to tap out for the day because in our Check Your Privilege, Heal Your Way Forward collective, we have an ADA social media training that we're doing as a collective. For those of you who are like, what is the Heal Your Way Forward collective? It is, let me give you all the links so I can find it. And maybe I'll be able to show it to you. I just don't want people's names to be popping up. So our collective is our own essentially social media network, but it's more or less a community. So it is a community. I don't know what y'all can see because I can't see okay, it's a community. And so as you see, it has feed, okay, it has challenges in our community. We have our welcome challenge and it has meetups. So it tells you everything we got going on. I'm going fast because y'all don't need to be in our business like this. But there are events that are happening, book clubs, body doublings, body sessions, arts and creativity, direct compassionate conversation practice, AD accessibility training. Our movement builders have meetings. So it is our community. It is where we gather together as a collective within and across racial difference and where we lean into the work together. A lot of people keep asking what it is. It is not a Patreon. It is, well, you can look at it as Patreon, but it's a place where there is active involvement, active community building, and active connecting. Yes, Heal Your Way Forward is on Spotify. It is on Audible. What's really helpful right now, though, if y'all pre-order the paperback, maybe you already have the hardcover, but pre-order the paperback. I'm actually getting ready to put a link up in March, not now. I need to order a whole bunch of orders from our publisher to have my own stock because I'm really excited to actually send out signed copies of the book for everyone. So we're just kind of preparing here at home for what's to come. Because I love writing messages and sending cards to people. That is my love language. And so really excited for the possibility and the opportunity to have some bulk books so that folks can have opportunities to connect and get signed books because, why not? I'm trying to figure out where I did with the link to the collective so you all can see it. I want to see if this is it so that you all can just look it up and see if it's something that you're interested in joining or being a part of. That's not the right one. So let me see. We are in the middle of getting our new website built. And so we got a lot of under construction changes happening. So I'm going to put the link here so you all see it. So if you are interested in learning more about our collective, what we do, what it's about, there is the link there on the screen. It is, let me see if I can put it on Instagram for those of you who are watching. It is the Heal Your Way Forward collective. We are a squad of many from all over the world, not just the country, that gather together almost 7 days a week. We pick and choose what works for us. And so, yeah, really excited for the future and what's to come. And I hope you all decide to check out our collective, join us, try it for 30 days. Try it for 30 days. And if it's not for you, it's okay. But just come and try it for 30 days. We'd love to have you. We have a couple subgroups within our community, or I don't want to call them affinity groups. We got our movement builders. We got our bodies of culture. For those folks who are really into Heal Your Way Forward, you will find out how to join our Heal Your Way Forward edition of this. We have a men's group. And we're opening up a couple other requested community subgroups as well. One for the LGBTQ plus community, one for the Jewish community. And yeah. And we have these meetups that anybody can go to. So maybe you want to know about like anti-Blackness. I usually host an anti-Blackness meetup used to be every week. It's almost like once a quarter. And so we're just filtering out my calendar and making sure that I'm pacing myself because I'm still navigating long COVID. So with that, learn more about the work of Check Your Privilege through our Heal Your Way Forward collective. Our Unlearning Academy will be launching during Black History Month, so stay tuned for that. So much goodness is happening. There's so much goodness in a world full of badness, but you can't have one without the other. Hey, Cindy, I'm so glad we hopped on your feed too. I want to say again, thank you guys for hanging out with me this morning. Thank you all for all the support you do for myself, my family, and our community members. Until I see you guys tomorrow here, read and heal your way forward. Keep living into your work. Peace.